For the fourth and final film of my movie day, I got the opportunity, the pleasure to see Twinless. Written and directed by James Sweeney, also starring James Sweeney and Dylan O'Brien. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button to never miss a video. We have daily content including film reviews and so much more. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button to never miss a video. Okay, so for my fourth film of the day, I had the opportunity, the pleasure of seeing Twinless. Now, this is a film that I feel like got absolutely zero marketing and was set up to fail. Because, again, this film, I didn't even see a poster for this movie at any of the 3 theaters I went to in the past couple weeks that I frequent. And the only reason I even seen this movie or even knew of its existence was I was on Rotten Tomatoes looking at some tomato scores, which I usually don't do. So the fact that I was on there looking at that was completely by chance, and I was so stoked when I seen this film even existed. Because when I saw it had the cover, it had Dylan O'Brien. It had like a 98 Rotten Tomatoes score and a 97 audience score, and I was like, what the hell is this movie, and how have I never heard of it? And I look into it, I'm like, okay, this is out now. Like, let me see where it's playing. It was playing nowhere. Literally, I had to drive to Northern Virginia, and there was one screening for this movie, and that was at 11 p.m. So this movie not only had like 0 screenings or next to no screenings, it's like only having like one screening at like 11 o'clock. And even the theater that I usually go to, our house there, I usually go to up in Northern Virginia, that's like 10 minutes from the AMC I went to, the Angelina Film Center in Moscow, they weren't playing it at all. So that was one of the theaters I usually go to that has the art house theaters, that has art house films, that has the foreign films, the low budget films, the films that I can't see at pretty much my mainstream AMCs. So the fact that AMC had this was a phenomenal, like, just one-off. But there was like no screenings of this movie. And it premiered at Sundance in 2025, this year, back in January. Won the jury prize pick for Best Picture, and also won the jury prize pick for Dylan O'Brien for actor in a movie role. So the fact that it got all this buzz at Sundance, and yet it got picked up, distributed, but it feel like they just kind of set this movie up to fail because it didn't get a wide release. It didn't get any marketing. Again, it might have been a big thing at Sundance, and they might have I never heard of this movie before seeing the thing. Again, I might have seen something for it back in January, just forgot, because I unfortunately never been to Sundance, hadn't had the opportunity to go yet. So again, it might have. Yeah, I do follow the words. I do follow the film festivals and kind of see what's playing or what's playing there and what's kind of big and so forth. I probably forgot about this, and if I even saw anything for it. But I feel like this film is going so under the radar, and it's such a great film. Like we were saying, this film was phenomenal. This is like a comedy, kind of like a dramedy that, again, is original without reinventing the wheel. It's everything everybody says they want, yet it's going to probably fail at the box office or have a mediocre box office revenue purely because they weren't even trying to let it make money. Which, again, I think is part of the problem why people say, oh, there's no original films, there's no original content, because all the original films are being produced. And then, of course, you have people who say, oh, there's plenty of original films. You're just not looking for them. You must not love film. They're there. It's just they're so... I feel like they're not hard to find, so to speak. Well, sometimes they are hard to see when they're in theaters. And then when they come out to the video on demand or home video, they're harder to kind of, not necessarily find, but they're just drowned in the noise of all the, I don't want to call it garbage, all the background noise films. And that is the thing. Like, they actually had an article, side note, that Netflix was telling their staff writers to write shows and write movies that are where the characters are telling or saying what they're doing, so people want to actually watch, so they can actually just have it playing in the background when they're doing laundry or doing chores or cleaning the house, to literally have it as background noise. So Netflix and these other production companies, streaming services, are literally producing movies to be background noise. And then they do it in mass production, so you're mass producing lower quality films and shows that just kind of eat up the space. So you have these films like Twinless that are these indie gems that are phenomenal, that are going to get kind of just swept under the rug because they're going to drown in this pool of oversaturated background noise, which I feel like is something that's probably going to happen in this film because it's not getting the recognition it deserves, and people aren't going to know to look for this film. Now, with that being said, I want to talk about a few things in this review. First off, the performances. Now, James Sweeney wrote and directed the film, and he also starred in the film as Dennis, who's one of the main characters. His performance was phenomenal. Him and Dylan O'Brien, toe-to-toe, phenomenal performances. They carried this movie. Both of them really equally carried this film, and it was phenomenal. Then you also have Aisling Francesco, who has a supporting role as Marcy, and she absolutely kills it in this role as well. And she plays such a lovable character. And the character, again, I got to give my hat off to James Sweeney. He wrote, directed, and starred in this film. He just captured such an amazing film, and he had this phenomenal vision, and with a phenomenal script. Like, he definitely, because again, this film is hilarious. The jokes land. They are so well paced, and they're so well balanced with this darker, more sorrowful kind of storyline about the death of his twin, because Dylan O'Brien plays both Roman and Rocky, who are these twins who are drastically different characters who kind of split apart in their later years. And Roman's taken Rocky's death, very hard, and he meets Dennis's character in a twin support group, and they kind of form this like kind of friendship. But more than that, the film kind of gives an insight on what it's like to be a twin. And I don't have a twin, so I don't know how true all the things they say are, but they're not far-fetched things. It's just like, having a twin is like always having your best friend there. It's like they kind of build this whole narrative around what it's like to have a twin, like a best friend who's been there with you since birth, and what happens if you lose that person. And just the concept is, I would say, new and original. But not only that, these characters, they're so well written, and the performances are phenomenal, and they just kind of bring these characters to life, and they're so unique in the most realistic and three-dimensional way that it really carries this film. Like, honestly, this is probably going to be my top 5 favorite films of the year. Like, it was so well done, and there's a perfect balance between the comedy and the drama of it, and just the overall those grounds of realism in loss and mourning. And honestly, there's not a negative thing I could say about this film. It was just a pure pleasure, even in its most darkest and gloomy moments, because again, it has that ability to get really dark and mourningful, then also kind of just snap back and be witty and funny without ever being cheesy or over the top or feel out of balance. And even some moments that really have a funny moment to it also has this moment of realism, because the film has the perfect balance of tone that I haven't seen in a long time. It's one of those films that I feel like definitely is going to come and go, but leave an impact. One of the films, the last time I can remember loving this much that came from Sundance and kind of had a similar feel to it, was a comedy that kind of came and went and definitely left an impact on me. Sadly enough, it's not a film I saw when it first came out. It actually took me years until after it came out to actually see the film, and I was kicking myself ever since, because I remember seeing Peter Travis say, this is one of those films that come around once in a lifetime or something. He quoted, I can't remember his exact quote, but he said for this film, he says, it's one of those films that come out of nowhere that you didn't know you needed, but will absolutely stick with you forever, or something like that. And that was Safety Not Guaranteed, which absolutely love that film. To this day, I'd say it's still a film that kind of stuck with me, that was one of those hidden gems that really left a mark, but also kind of didn't get the recognition it deserved. And this film is right up there with it. This film, again, I'm giving this one a Ferris Bueller. If I could go see this film again in theaters, I would. Again, I don't think I'm going to be able to see this film in theaters again, simply because I had to go up to Northern Virginia the first time to watch it, and it only played at 11 p.m. And I don't even know if they're going to have another screening, because the fact that it just came out how long ago, and there was like no screenings for it anywhere, and like I had to go. There was like one screening in my tri-state area that had this film. Makes you wonder, like, I'm gonna have to look into the box office and see, what was the box office for this film, how many theaters it played in, how many screens, because I feel like this film is like, I just feel like it's not gonna get the recognition it deserves, and it's so well done. It is such a phenomenal film. I cannot speak highly enough about it. I'm probably not giving it the recognition it deserves or the credibility it deserves in this review. I cannot give this film high enough praise. Everything just kind of works for this film. Pacing's perfect. Everything about this movie is just phenomenal. With that being said, like I said, give us a Ferris Bueller. If you have the opportunity to see this, go out and see it. Pay your full price. Pay for parking if you have to. You will not be disappointed. This is one of those films that everybody talks about wanting something like this, original and just flat out phenomenal, but nobody is going to be able to see. Nobody's talking about this film. Nobody's praising this film, and I feel like not enough people are going to see this film. So that being said, have you saw it? What are your thoughts? Comment below. Let me know. Are you going to see it? Comment below. Let me know.